Let's bring in Craig Button now and talk more about the Leafs as the playoffs get closer. Craig, only 4 losses over the last month, and that's not a bad stat at all. But when you look at it a little deeper, you might see a problem here because those losses all come against contenders. 2 against the Bruins, and then 1 each against Vegas and then Carolina Saturday night. That failure against the Hurricanes when they had the 2-goal lead late and then end up losing it in a shootout, do you see that as a glimpse into their playoff future?
Yeah, I don't see so much the collapse per se as a glimpse. It's the reason for the collapse, and it goes straight back to the blue line. I don't think it's a good enough blue line. I don't think it's a good enough blue line to compete against the best teams in the Eastern Conference. So if we go through that and we talk about Boston, the Florida Panthers, Carolina, and the New York Rangers, they're top 7 in goals against per game and in penalty killing. Those 2 things go hand in hand with defensive play. You need good defenders to be able to be good defensively and on the penalty kill. Where do the Leafs rank? Well, they rank 19th in goals against per game and 24th on the penalty kill. It's simply not good enough. And those are the things that rear their ugly head against good teams, that rear their head against good teams in the playoffs. And when you don't have that area of your game in order, clearly it's been a problem for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Clearly it was identifiable to everybody. It wasn't addressed. So when these problems start to pop up, and they don't pop out of nowhere, they pop up because it's a weakness. And that's where the Leafs find themselves. So when you start to look at that area of their game, and in my view, clearly behind those 4 teams, it doesn't matter how close the games may be, but when I look at contenders, I don't see the Leafs in that category. And I don't see them in that category because of the weakness on the blue line that simply wasn't addressed in the top 2 pairs.
But even if you look at their greatest strength, one player having a tough time lately anyway against the league's best teams is Auston Matthews. In the past month, he has only 2 goals against playoff teams. Should the Leafs be concerned about his lack of results against top competition, at least lately?
I am not concerned one bit about Auston Matthews. He's got 55 goals. There was earlier stretch in the season when you're worried about Auston Matthews. Will he score? Everybody had him on track for 70 goals. 70 goals is hard to get in this league. But he is the league's best goal scorer. He gets chances. And when I start to worry about players, and I'm going to continue to say this until there's no more time to say it, good goal scorers, even when they're not scoring, if they're doing the right things, will score. Auston Matthews is the least of the Toronto Maple Leafs problems, in my view. I have 0 concerns about his ability to score against anybody in this league.
And one playoff team that he's dominated this year, the Leafs' next opponent, the Philadelphia Flyers. He has scored in both matchups against them this season, including a hat trick last month.